request. So if you've got, usually there's a, obviously the property address and the owner address can be separate sometimes. They could have moved, they could have not maybe updated their,
They
address
could be
right away.
dead.
That's true too.
I don't know.
Well,
That's what I'm thinking about now.
or did you have the question, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you can, that's another good point. You could do a Google search on the owner's name and attach obituary, right? Mark Jones obituary and the city, state, and see if anything pops up that way. I mean, it does sound morbid, but that's what happens. True People search is pretty accurate, but it's not 100%, especially if people are in transition. I like using IDI data. I mean, I have some houses like that on my list that I'm like still going after, they've been on my radar for a year. IDI gives me a deeper skip tracing service where it'll give me next of kin emails. It gives me a lot, but you have to be vetted and sign up for their service. So
Well, how much is their subscription?
We could take it off the call, but I signed up for two things. One is batch skip tracing, which I'm committed to a monthly service. And then on the side, I get access to that one-off. It's like $1 for that deeper search, but you have to have it as a whole package. So I pay basically $300 a month for annual service. 15 cents is a hit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But for me, it's the access. It's the on-demand service. Like I can be doing this at midnight. I submit my list. I get it back in 5 minutes, and I can manage everything. Yeah, good question.
Was that helpful, Louise?
Yeah, but I searched her through White Pages.
Okay.
She owns a house, but I don't know where she lives now. I don't know. She might.
So I would say two things. You're going to want to send an address to the last known address of the owner. So it could be that property address. It could be, if it's a tax assessor, if you look that up, if there's a different, sometimes there are PO boxes, but send a letter there and do a return service request. And then if the address has been updated, you'll get that yellow sticker back. And then I would leave a handwritten sticky note on the door. So whoever's going and maintaining or keeping an eye on that property, they might be checking on it, see that handwritten note. Don't leave a handwritten letter in the mailbox. That's not cool. But yeah, just put it on the door, or put it somewhere that's kind of visible from the road. And then also check around with neighbors, interview them, see what's going on with the property. You got to be a little bit of a detective.
Right.
Helpful?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's give Elizabeth Miller a round of applause and Louis a round of applause. Great question. Great question. What other questions can we answer before we get this call started? Anything that's stopping you from getting your next deal off market, or maybe getting a deal under contract, or negotiating a deal? This is your chance. We're talking about real estate wholesaling, and go. Any questions? Questions about how to wholesale your next deal, find a deal off market, negotiate said deal, or even close on a deal? Well, I'll open it up to that too. What questions do you have about real estate in general? And I'll tease you with this one. If you don't have questions, you're not taking enough action. Action creates questions. So if you haven't done anything, you won't have questions. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. If there isn't enough action, you won't know what to ask. Hands to the camera if you're new to wholesaling, new to real estate. There it is. There it is. Hey, welcome. Let's give them a round of applause for showing up. Successful people show up. It's one of the secrets to success. We're going to get this recording going in just a second. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Multifamily Wholesaling Bootcamp. My name is Gualter Amarelo, and this event is all about training you to pick up the phone and get some results. But before we get started, I want to ask a question to qualify, make sure I got the right people in the room. Hands to the camera if you'd like to make more money this year. That's this stuff, the cash. Yes. Excellent. Hands to the camera if you'd like to do it with less work, less effort involved. Is that something that inspires? Excellent. Awesome. Who wants to do it with more work? Who wants to work harder? All right, just make sure we all agree. It can be done easier. And here's how I know. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. Every single one of us has to go to sleep at some point. Anybody ever try running a full 24 hours, stayed awake all 24 hours, maybe studying for an exam before? Yeah, maybe you'll pull that off once a week. Maybe you could pull it off twice a week if you're superhuman. But for the most part, we all have the same 24 hours in the day. The difference between highly successful people and people who don't have a lot is how they use their time. If you're looking to get to the next level, you're going to have to own this stuff. Being a landlord, being an owner of real estate is how you build net worth. And we all know the reason you're not buying this, we'll say this is a let's say it's a 100-unit building. This is a $10 million building right here. This thing would put you into financial freedom. Hence the camera if that's true. If it cash flows somewhere around $100,000 a month, or the rents are $100,000 a month, this would retire just about anybody on this call. But what does it take to buy something like this? Close to about $2.5 million would be the down payment on a $10 million property. Now, me and my business partner have equity in our assets. We have about $5 million in equity in our assets. So we're taking out a loan of $2.5 million to buy an asset that looks just like this. But we didn't always start out this way. Hands the camera if you know it's possible to go to where we are starting from nothing. All right. If you don't believe that, there's a lot of research that proves that 86% of millionaires came from nothing. I'm one of those. I'm one of those people who started off just scraping by, trying to survive. I made the same amount of money for 10 years straight. Hands to the camera if you know somebody out there is making the same amount of money they made for 10 years. They just keep showing up. The only difference that occurred for me during those 10 years was a 2% raise. And man, I scored. I was the high scorer in that company. I made the 2%. Everybody else get 1%, 0.5%. I was getting 2%. And I thought that was great. Hands to the camera if you've ever been there. You thought the 2% would be an amazing increase in pay. You remember those days? Yes. Some of us are still there, and that's okay. What I discovered was it wasn't amount of work. It wasn't the amount of work or how hard I grinded at my job, because if I grinded my ass off and I did everything they wanted, all they give me was 2%. Now I was more than everybody else. So I was winning. I was winning in the game of that world, but I wasn't playing the game of life. Now life plays by very specific rules. There are very specific rules. And fortunately, real estate is one of those that has been proven over centuries. Real estate's not new. Hands to camera if you know a house that has been there for over 100 years. You know somebody who owns a house that's been there 100 years? Shit, if you know me, I got houses that are 300 years old. All right, so I own property that is, and where I grew up in New England, the average house is 200 years old. All right, my first house was built in the 1600s. I bought that in 2008, in 2008. My first house was built in the 1600s. We weren't even a country back then. But real estate was being bought, real estate was being built, real estate was being rented, and real estate was being sold. Hands to the camera if you know it's better to work in a business that's got a proven track record. Yeah, it's consistent. Real estate is consistent. So that being said, I built my wealth through owning real estate. Now, I didn't buy a whole bunch of houses in year one. In fact, I was probably a lot like where each one of you is starting, where I didn't know shit about buying a house. All I knew is that the rich people owned them. And so I started with buying my first house. And I lived in it. I did a house hack. Anybody know what a house hack is? Hands to the camera if you've heard of house hacking. All right. Hands to the camera if you don't know what house hacking is. Never heard of it before. All right, cool. But Maria, we're going to chill with you. What are both your names? I'm sure Maria's only one of you. For some reason, the sound's not working. Just drop it in the chat. I'll read it. So house hacking is where you own a property and you rent out other pieces of the property. So what we'll see in Boston is a lot of people will have a 3-bedroom apartment and they'll rent out 2 of the bedrooms. Maybe they're paying their entire rent off of the 2 rentals. So if the mortgage on the property, that unit is, we'll say $2,000 in Boston, right? Elizabeth, is that fair? That sounds about accurate. So we'll say it's $2,000. Rent each bedroom for about $1,000 each. That means you're living in bedroom 3 for free. Or you could do what I did. I started with multifamilies. I started with a 3-family that I bought for $157,000, which was worth maybe about 170 at the time, 180, 170. So this was back in 2012. Bought that property, rented out 2 of the units, and lived in one of the units rent-free. The rents at the time were $750. So I was living, and I sold my other house, which I was paying $1,400 for the mortgage. I sold that single family I owned, the house hack. and I flipped it, made $34,000 when I sold it. But what the magic was, my monthly payment went from $1,400 a month to zero because I was living rent free in that 3-family. Hands to the camera if that's a story of freedom. You know, it's possible for just about anybody if you can come up with a down payment. There it is. You need money. It's proof you do need money to be successful. Well, yeah, that's why we get into wholesaling. Wholesaling is a way to make money with no risk. You get the house under contract, you get under agreement, and then you go and you sell it a contract, the agreement to somebody else. We call it assigning the loan, using a assignment clause. We use an assignment contract. This process allows you to get your capital up. Down payment on a $300,000 house. Who knows what that would be if you're owner occupying? Any guesses? All right, I'll just throw it out there. So on a $300,000 house, if you're owner occupying, it is about $10,000. 3.5% is all you need down in order to buy the house if you're owner occupying. Now, if you already own one, shit, yeah, you're 20, 25%. So the secret is first buy the one that you're going to live in. Buy a multifamily, it works a lot better. If you're in New England, if you're in the East Coast up till probably around Georgia, you can buy multifamilies, the smaller multis. Anywhere in the Midwest, the West Coast, southern states, those tend to be a lot larger and a lot more expensive, but you can still find them. You can find little house hacked ones. So anyway, wholesaling in the beginning is how you get your capital up. That first 10,000 could be all you need to get your first investment. That investment, as long as the market continues to grow, goes up in value. If the market turns, it doesn't matter. You're still living rent free. Hence, the camera, if you recognize you're cash flowing in a way, you're saving the rent that you would be paying somebody else. That money is now going into your pocket, which if you're smart, by the way, wealth stacking includes being smart. You're saving that money up so that you can invest it again. See, to get to where you want to go, which I believe is financial freedom. Everybody said they want to make more money, spend less time. Yeah. All right, cool. So to get financial freedom, you're going to have to do something that nobody else wants to do, which is make more money and save it, not make more money and spend it. You get a little bit of Dave Ramsey on this, right? And I'm not a huge fan of talking about Dave Ramsey for a lot of reasons, one of which all he talks about is saving and paying down debt. I love debt. Debt is how we buy these. I told you about a $10 million property, right? I'm going to put $7.5 million in debt on this property so that I can own it. And the cash flow will more than justify it. The rents coming in, $100,000 in rents can more than justify a 7.5%, 7.5 million mortgage. Ask me how I know. I currently have a $3 million amount of debt. So currently $3 million in debt. Hands to the camera if that sounds exciting. Hands to the camera if that sounds terrifying. If $3 million in debt's like, holy shit, what the fuck are you doing? If I told my mom, she'd freak out. She can't handle it. She cannot handle how much debt I have. But here's the thing. The real estate's worth $10 million. The real estate has an asset value of $10 million. So my net worth is significantly higher. Now I have a bunch of owners in the company, so my net worth is somewhere around 2.4 million. But the other people in the company have a net worth too. I've not only added value to myself by building this company, I've helped other people add value to their lives. Hands camera if you know you want to have impact on other people as well. That'd be cool. All right, so I just painted a long-term vision. It took me 7 years to get here. It may take you 7 years, but you got me. So it could take you 5 years. Could take you 3 years. My brother bought his first piece of real estate this year, $1 million property, no money out of pocket. Can you guess what his unfair advantage was? He knows me, right? I took him under my wing. I said, bro, like, don't be a chump. We're going to go buy this property. We're going to go do this. He pulls in $18,000 a month from that building. $18,000 a month. Seller financing. The seller financed it. So he didn't have to go to a bank. Didn't have to go run his credit. He owns the building. His name is on the deed. He owns the building. Names on deeds, by the way. The secret to success in real estate. Names on deeds. That's it. None of the other BS. Get your name on the deed. You own the real estate. However you do, as long as it's moral, ethical, and legal, is okay. As long as it's, I'm rephrasing this because I know there's new people on the call, moral, ethical, and legal. It has to be done the right way. If it's done the wrong way, it won't last very long. Hands to camera if you know that's true. Where criminals end up in jail. Yeah. So treat people with respect, treat people well. Your business will last for a very, very long time. We wouldn't have gotten as big as we are if it wasn't for treating people well, people returning the favors that we did over time. And I want you to think in your head that you're going to build an amazing business. It doesn't have to be as big as ours, but why not? Why not? Why not just do something so cool, so amazing, where we have hundreds of people who admire what we've done, who are in a better place because of what we've done. Even the coaching company now helps hundreds of people that are being impacted in having better lives and better opportunities for themselves and their communities because of the activities that we've taken. We couldn't have built a coaching company if we hadn't been successful first. Does that make sense? You got to walk first before you can teach somebody else how to walk. You got to get out of your own shit before you can go teach somebody else how to get out of their shit. So in order to help your family create legacy wealth, you've got to go build legacy wealth. Hence, Karen, if you're committed to your family, committed to your legacy, committed to the future, excellent. Real estate's going to be a part of it. It may not be the only part. Many of you are business owners, entrepreneurs. I think that's the first place to start. And I think wholesaling is a great business to start with. Since I've been talking about it, I do have an event coming up. Who's heard of the 100 Millionaire Summit? Who knows they're going to be there in Orlando? Hell yeah. All right. So very quickly, I will share the screen because Darina has said the sharing of the screen makes it more fun. So this is the 100 Millionaire Summit. Here are my millionaire friends, all millionaires, all friends of mine. Mitch, I met at an event Darina was running in Boston. This is Christine and Terry. I met them at an event in LA that I was at. This is Doug, who I met in Florida. I met him in Orlando at an event that we were at. This is Ryan McDermott. I was speaking at the Boston Real Estate Investors Association. Ryan was in the front row. Actually, if I recall, Ryan was 5 rows back. But afterwards, he said, yeah, I'm in. Whatever you're doing, I'm in. This is Mitch Durfee. I met in Boston. We were at an event called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Each one of these is millionaires. Each one of them owns real estate. This is Heidi. This is actually Doug's wife. I met, obviously, Heidi through Doug. So very simple. The rich people know rich people. This is Mike Shine. Mike Shine, I met at the Rhode Island Real Estate Investors Association that I spoke at. And he was dressed in a suit. I was dressed in a suit. We both intimidated each other. We just shook each other's hands and walked away. We were like, yeah, this guy's some fancy attorney. I'm not going to, hang out with him. And he was like, this guy's some young, hotshot real estate investor. I'm not going to hang out with him. And over time, he and I have become best friends. We now run our own 100 Millionaires podcast together because we got over our ego and we just said, you know what, look, this guy's got a lot going on here. Really, really valuable person. And he agrees we're going to help a lot of people together by teaching what we've done. And he loves, no shame, he loves Tesla and he is deep into crypto as well. So owns a lot of real estate and is an attorney, has a great business, but also invests in other things. Same with Mitch Jorsky over here. We call him the crypto cat. So he wrote a book called Scaredy Cat Guide to Knowing What the Heck Bitcoin Is. And then my lovely princess, the Russian princess Darina, who is a millionaire. Not the reason I started dating her, but it was one of the qualifications. Hands to the camera if you know you got to have some standards. I was like, look, she don't have to be a sugar mama, but she at least got to be sweet. So the 100 Millionaires Summit is October 22nd in Orlando. It is going to be badass. We're going to teach you how to reset your blueprint. So put a business plan together for you to double your income this year. If your income is at 100, we're going for a quarter. If it's at a quarter, we're going for a half. If it's at $500,000, we're going for $1 million. If it's at $1 million, we're going for 2. Hands to camera if you see the theme. You know how this works. We go and we build a business plan for you to double your income. The only people I can't help are the people who are looking to earn more than I have earned this year. Now, next year, I'll have earned more. And so I'll be able to help you next year. But if you're looking to surpass me in 1 year, I'll send you off to another coach who has done that. Hands to the camera if that's fair. Don't teach something you haven't done. Awesome. Don't make promises you can't keep. So the 100 Millionaire Summit is a powerful event. This is the once a year event, the only thing you need to go to impact your life in a positive way for 3 reasons. 1, the network. All of our students will be there. All of our graduates who've been through my mentorship will be there. These are millionaires and future millionaires. 2, my millionaire coaches. Every single one of us will be in the same place on the same stage for 3 days. And then 3, rehacking this mindset, teaching you the process for doubling your income, because there is a process. Trust me, I've been doing this for years. I've doubled my income for the last 6 years. Every single year, doubling my income, increasing it by at least 2 times. Guess what? Same amount of work. The work doesn't change. What I get done does. But the work is up here. The goal, setting the goal and increasing the desire to hit it, that's where the work is. We're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to teach you how to set a business plan that will work for you to hit your goal. If you want to aim bigger than double your income, we can aim bigger. I can set up any plan. The problem is most people don't believe that they can create it. Hands to camera, if you know, believing that you 10x your money this year would be really hard. It'd be like magical thinking almost. Right. And I love Grant Cardone, but he's like 10x. And it's like, bro, like, why don't we just get them to do double? Right? Why don't we just, I'm pretty sure double would change somebody's life. Fancy Cam, if that's true, double your income would be life changing. Yeah. So let's just start there and then do it again next year. Shit, if it takes you 3 to 5 years to become a millionaire, welcome to the game. That's the truth of the process. Some people like Ryan McDermott, who's in the mentorship, is going to do it in 1 year. Some people like Saeed and Ryan McGovern, they're going to do it in 1 year. Actually, Ryan McDermott already did it in 1 year. But he came in with like 800,000 net worth. So hands scam for me, know that's cheating. Like he was already there. Ryan McGovern, on the other hand, came in with only 100,000 net worth. He's crushing it this year. He'll be at $1 million by the end of the year. My brother came in with $250,000 from his business. He's at $1 million right now. He did it in 6 months. 6 months. So it is possible. And the reason I talk about the unicorns is just to say they exist, just to put it out there, float it. Like, if you think you're one of them, I will work with you. And like, just know the process is 3 to 5 years. That's a standard, right? Why am I talking about that at a wholesaling call? Because you got to set some goals. Look, you're not just here to make a couple wholesale deals. You're here to make $1 million. And then after that, by the way, I say this often because the first $1 million is a bitch. The second $1 million is inevitable. Once you learn the process, once you learn how to think like a millionaire, nothing can stop you. You just keep doing it. And when your friends will ask you, why do you keep making money? Because hands to camera, if you've been asked that before, anybody in the community been here a while, get asked by your friends, why are you still working so hard? Why are you making money? Yeah. I get the question all the time. Because it's fun. That's why. Because I found something I enjoyed doing, and then I made sure I got paid for doing it. That's why. I found real estate. I found a niche within real estate that I really enjoy. And then I'm not going to stop doing something I enjoy just because it makes a lot of money. Hands to camera, if you commit to not stopping, if you are having fun, even if it makes a lot of money. We'll see. We'll see. Usually people stop when they make a certain amount, and that's okay. No judgment. So wholesaling is the first step. Then I suggest getting your real estate license if you really like wholesaling, or if you find that you'd rather be on the buy side. Agents will make more money than wholesalers generally because there's just more people they can work with. And then the next step after that is flipping. You do not have to do all these in this order. You can skip ahead. I skipped right to property ownership, right? Youngest. There you go, Elizabeth. You're still young. We're all pretty young on here. So except for Clint, Clint looks got that serious face. He's aging all of us. First step, wholesale, then real estate agent, then flip, then landlord. Or you can do like I did, skip right to landlording. But you still got to learn how to get the deal. And that's where wholesaling comes in. That's where the skill set of wholesaling comes in. The stuff on the market is not going to work. We got to go off market to find the deals we want. Do we have a great speaker today, Elizabeth?
Only if you think I'm great.
I beg the question. I'd say you are. Elizabeth, what is your topic today so I can give you a massive, impressive introduction?
Okay, so I noticed there's a lot of questions there. How do you get started for free? How do you get started like low cost or no knowledge? So I'm going to show you 3 different tools, 3 different things that you can implement to grow your wholesaling business. And that's where I'll leave it.
I like it. Elizabeth. Let's give Elizabeth a round of applause before I bring her on. I got to tell you a little bit about her. I believe that before you listen to somebody, you should know what they have done, know what they're capable of, and know who they are as a person. Why are they here teaching? So Elizabeth Miller is a good friend of mine. She is a queen of networking. When I met her, she was networking at all the different real estate investor events. And she was doing it because she wants to learn. She was earning knowledge. She was earning relationships. And she was also looking for deals. She was looking at service people. Hey, what are you buying? I'll go and I'll look for it. Hey, do you have a deal? I'm looking to buy. So Elizabeth has gone and done $1 million deals in the Boston market. She's done deals in Seattle, Washington. She owns a rental out there still. And now she's looking to move to Orlando. And she's actually, I asked her recently, I popped the question. I was like, Elizabeth, will you be our acquisition specialist in the Orlando market? Will you bring us some deals? I got down on bended knee and everything. And and she said yes. So let's give Elizabeth Miller a round of applause. She is the queen of systems. Man, she does more than anybody I know who doesn't have a team. She operates very intelligently. She's been building her systems for years. If you want to learn how to wholesale, if you want to learn how to find deals off market, Elizabeth Miller is one of the authorities that I would send anybody to. Let's give Elizabeth Miller a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Gualter. Well, you and Dorina have built such a fantastic community here. I couldn't be where I'm at without this alchemist community. So thank you so much for bringing all your knowledge and connections here. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. So yeah, to that end, I had those same limiting beliefs, right? I went from Washington State to Massachusetts in the Boston market, Cambridge. I mean, that's where I moved. So a very high price market. I, you know, I figured I couldn't do a deal in my own backyard. Well, the deal I actually ended up doing was a 2-family condo conversion, but you have to bring the right knowledge, the right network, and it all kind of comes together at the right time. So you basically are doing all these different activities to level up your skills, your confidence, and your ability to perform on that. So I'm going to share my screen. I don't want to intimidate. I'm just trying to show you a few basic things. Again, low cost, utilizing some things to kind of get you streamlined, organized. So if you don't have a Google Gmail account, I would highly recommend setting one of those up, because with the Google G Suite, you have different free tools at your fingertips. And as a wholesaler, you're wearing basically all the hats, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur. But you're making those connections with the buyers, you're making those connections with the sellers, but then there's all the other industry professionals in between. And so you are that high connector. And 2 ways to do this, to again add buyers to your buyer list. You can create a Google sheet. It's a form. I'm not going to demonstrate how to do it. You can probably go find this. This is just the back end of one that I've already built out that you can start sharing today. So I'm going to show you how to use a couple of different free resources to kind of connect them. And then as you're networking in Facebook groups, as you're networking, any kind of channels, you can send this in an email, Facebook Messenger, those different channels, but build it out. This one, you can color code it, and obviously the call to action is this is your buyers list. So I make them required to fill it out with an email, a name, a phone number, their location. This is where they want to buy, their zip codes where they want to buy. So again, you want to follow this form up with a personal one-on-one conversation. You need to interview your buyers. You need to know what's going on in that market, so you can find that right selling opportunity that meets that criteria. If you can't close and perform, if your end buyer can't close and perform it, you need to be able to do that too. And that's why I started backwards. I was just looking for my own deals to close on my own. But here, this one's built out for apartments, so don't get intimidated by the price points. You could build this out to be any kind of market. I mean, there's houses that are selling for $30,000 all the way on up. I just put different benchmarks to put people in buckets for that end price, that wholesale price. And then number of units. Again, this was built out specifically for apartments. So 1 to 4 units, 5 to 20. You could change this out to say type of house. I'm looking for ranches, I'm looking for colonials, I'm looking for a duplex. Whatever your local market is, you can create this form however best fits your business and your market and your area. These ones are pretty uniform. I wouldn't necessarily go outside of the types of financing, cash, hard money, private money, conventional loan. you can maybe put like 401k or any of those other types of investment buying strategies in there. But this is pretty basic for how most investors will buy. I mean, I could put a checkbox here, syndication, but you know, it's kind of a given for some deals. Okay, so the other question that's very important to ask as a connector, you're going to want to, you know, make connections with other hard money loan or hard money lenders, private lenders, because sometimes they will give you a referral fee. So if you can connect that end buyer with a you know, a hard money lender, they'll give you a fee for making that connection. So that's always good to know. And then, are you willing to lend on projects? So again, this is just a discovery form to see, you know, how well your buyers are set up and building those deeper relationships. So however this form is filled out, you will get that in a spreadsheet. And I don't know if I'm going to find it right away, but yeah, here it is right here. So it's an Excel spreadsheet, or it's a form spreadsheet through, you know, the Google Docs, but you can see the date that they're filled out and the information. I mean, this is all live information, so I'm not going to stay on here very long, but you can see how it's filled out. And then as you grow, you can import this into any other paid for CRM service, but you can build out your tabs again as you make calls to different lenders, landlords, real estate agents, you know, contractors, title companies, attorneys, depending on where your market is at, and kind of keep everything in one place. So mine is new, I just started it, but it's very helpful to share this information out. So you get this little gear, and then you could, you know, edit it, and then you can send it either in an email, just shorten your links, and then this can go right in a Facebook post. It could be done as a comment. You can ask people to fill it out. You can share it in an email, whatever. It looks like I got a lot of questions in here. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, it's Monday, exciting. My favorite day of the week. Okay, so that's essentially your form for your buyers list. Now you're going to have a similar form that you're going to want to fill out. Now, you know, Monday night's all about cold calling, but another way to find deals is to do driving for dollars. So you can drive for dollars, you can walk for dollars, you can bike for dollars, you can Google Street View for dollars. You can also have other people as bird dog. You can pay them a bird dog fee or have them work whatever local market. And then you guys could do this together. So again, this is the basic idea or criteria you want to fit for that neighborhood, you know, driving for dollars aspect, being in that market, like literally going down the streets. So this is what you're looking for, you know, overgrown grass, junk in the yard, distressed property signals, you know, cars that haven't moved in a long time, and anything that looks vacant. So sometimes in the Northeast, you know, when you get a fresh dusting of snow, if, you know, after a certain amount of time that snow has been cleared, you know, it's, you know, either been sitting vacant or somebody's not taking care of that property. So that could be another good sign too. But you're going to want to mark those as potential properties to, you know, skip trace or find out who that owner is, to see if they'd be open to an offer on their property. So again, you or the person on the who's doing that neighborhood walkthrough or neighborhood you know, searching would just fill out the street information. The owner's first name, that could be done kind of after the fact, after you skip trace it a little bit, and any other kind of notes that go along with that on site. And then you get a similar back end sheet. So with this, I think I did one in my local, I just walked for dollars, but this is a picture. So you could take a picture and it'll sort it and save it there for you, so you can come back to it. So there's a little bit of data entry, but it is free. You do get some of this up front with that Google form, but then you're going to go back and you're going to add in owner's first name, last name, mailing address. You can set up a VA to do this for you. I pay for IDI skip tracing. I have other services that I can look this up pretty quickly. So it kind of just depends on what resources you have available to you. But truepeoplesearch.com is pretty accurate for being free, that you can still fill out some of that information. So to put all of this together for other resources, I like using Linktree to saving certain links and being able to go back and reference those points. So you can sign up. I use mine for a lot of different affiliate links and other reminders and quick reference points, but you could put this together with your buyers list on there, with your driving for dollars list on there, and then use that as a networking and kind of marketing tool. I'm going to open it up for questions. I wasn't really prepared for this, for an extensive walkthrough. Does all of this make sense? You guys can unmute your mics.
Yeah, can you just say a little more about Linktree? I haven't heard of that before. I see the page, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the way I found, like, if you're on other social media platforms like Instagram, they specifically do not let you do a lot of link sharing and article sharing, and so except for the one link in the bio. And I think Linktree kind of came from answering that, where people wanted to see certain promotional links in there, so they utilize this page, you know, to be able to have different, you can edit this and you can change the order, you can change the color and customize it. It's pretty plain and boring, and I actually have a lot of links. Most people don't have this many, but I use it for other things too, in as reference points. For me, I like bookmarks. I can't I can't find anything if I don't have it bookmarked. And so this is just a good reference point for me to come back. Like I have, you know, another scheduling tool is the Calendly. You know, if you want people to book time with you, I use that in my email signature. But, you know, it's just places to go to. It's all in one spot. If you're going to keep coming back to certain pages, you want to have that bookmark so you save a little bit of time. You're not, you know, looking for things. And I might not use it like everybody else does, but for me, I think it's another connection point and reference. Because I mean, people reach out to me for different things, and so I'm doing a lot of the same conversations in like a Facebook Messenger, or you know, through, you know, Instagram. I guess that's the same thing. But as you're going through you know, buy sell trade groups, or as you're going through real estate investing chat groups, a lot of times people just put an email in there. And so I just offer or extend, hey, you know, if you want to be added to my buyers list, this is where I'm looking for deals. And then I'll send that link. They can answer those questions and fill it out for themselves. But I would still recommend going back and building a relationships with those buyers. So have a conversation with them, set some time aside to work that buyers list, you know, maybe once a week or rotate it once a month, call different people, see where they're at, see what's going on in that marketplace, what they're looking for. You know, some people buy on a like a net price, like they want to see $50,000 profit in a deal before they'll even do it. So just ask those discovery questions. Good question, Mark. Any other questions? I can go back to the form, the buyer's guide. Yeah, so if you can think of any other forms that are similar, you might want to do one, you know, for, you know, agents, if you're going to be connecting them to, you know, investor buyers, see what kind of markets they're in. Yeah. So let's see, do we have any questions in the chat? No, we're all good. So what's new with you, Kev?
Nothing much. Welcome everybody. Another Monday, huh? It's cool to see y'all again. Quite a bit of new faces too. That's what's up, man. How we doing? Kim looking good. Clint, everybody, Robert, Mark, Tom, what's good, buddy? How's everything going, man? So, yeah, I don't know.
Pretty darn good. Thanks for asking.
Nice. Yeah,
Couldn't be doing better if I wrote the rules myself.
that's why we're here, man. That's why we're here. I'm not sure if Liz got into any other strategies based on kind of finding off-market deals. I know we went into cold calling and as well driving for dollars, right? And I'm sure as you guys kind of dig deeper into this vortex of real estate investing, you're gonna jump into like another 30 on the way there. If I could just suggest and give you some advice for that, pick one, learn one, and just do one. Stick to that one. They all do work. But again, I would suggest someone just focus on that one. If it's cold calling, if it's mail, if it's anything else. Your least expensive, right? Like Liz, I think her presentation today was guided towards that. I would say would be, you're driving for dollars and your list that you can come with on your own in your own neighborhoods that you would want to live in. That's kind of a quick lesson I got from Gualter real quick. I was like, man, where can I start developing lists on my own or whatever? He's like, dude, just pick a neighborhood you want to live in. Just think about that. Like pick a neighborhood that maybe my kids are in that school, or some kids are into that school, or that school is, performing a lot better than others, or whichever way you're looking at it. I would look at it just the way you would look at purchasing a home as you start to build this type of marketing system. And then again, I would really stick to that one thing. And like I had said, that driving for dollars is your least expensive. Obviously, you got your gas, you got your mileage, right? You got your wear and tear. And again, you got like your sniper slash ninja type skills. You might have to hop a fence or two, peek in a boarded window if that's your style as well. But I wouldn't suggest that. That's no type of advice at all that I'm giving you guys to do that. I like cold calling. That's my thing, and I think maybe that's the reason why you guys are here as well. Cold calling may be part of your strategy. I do quite a bit of calling as well. Like you'll see through the Mondays. Tonight's going to be tough for me to get on the phones, but we usually do get on there. But we also provide a platform for anyone that wants to get on as well. And if anyone is even thinking like, what to do, like how do I even get a list, right? I don't know if Liz went into actually getting something. I use PropStream. PropStream's a great source. And if you're going to look at, like, obviously they're paid though, guys. These things that I'm talking about are paid memberships, are paid monthly services. Driving for dollars, I use the Deal Machine quite a bit. I like Deal Machine. I know a lot of guys and a lot of girls in here still currently use Deal Machine. It simplifies that driving for dollars aspect. Instead of you running around with notebook, and trying to pull over on a main road and you see this thing. So, but yeah, pick one.
Oh, sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, no, I would say pick one. Go ahead.
How do you drive for dollars virtually? So I was just going to pull up a map really
that's
quick.
Cool. Yeah.
And it's not the best, but it kind of gets the job done. Did I share my screen or
not yet?
Hang on, sorry, I just minimized it.
So yeah, so like Deal Machine also, you can start up too. I started up for free, and they literally have the map on your phone, right? So if I'm not mistaken, she's probably going to use Google Maps, which works too.
Yeah, it's not the best. So somebody within Google had to have driven the neighborhood. Now this is
right.
a property that I was evaluating, so it's not going to be the best, but you can see they've gone to most of the neighborhoods and done that. So you can
yeah.
just look at here. You're going to look at the bottom right corner. This last image capture was May 2011, so it's not up to date, but you just have to kind of, you know, look at your neighborhoods and see, you know, where it's at for the market you're in, and that's how you virtually drive. You're just looking for the same things you would if you
Yep.
had a car. And then I would say, you know, anybody who's you know, hidden, because they can blur it, hidden their view or something like this.
Mhm.
You're either going to send somebody to do it with boots on the ground or send mailers if it's, you want to make sure that there's more than
Yeah.
one motivation point there with something else. They came up on another list, but this neighborhood looks pretty clean.
So if you guys notice right on that right hand bottom corner, okay, you look at the image capture.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have them on all, right? So here we are, May 2011. You know what I mean? And again, that's obviously when the image was taken. So a lot of things can happen from now and then. Obviously, the best bet would be, you know, actually driving the thing. But again, your next best is literally virtually. And if you're able to set up a team like that, if you got a realtor in the neighborhood, or if you even got a handyman in the neighborhood, anyone, a neighbor, a cousin, whatever, like, hey, you don't mind, you know, driving by this property, take a few pictures. Like, it wouldn't hurt, I don't think, you know. I wish one of my cousins would have hit me up like that. I'd be like, yo, well, when are we doing our next deal? You know, but
or you just do it before you actually drive a neighborhood.
Yeah.
You go, you know what, that one looks pretty clean, or at least it did in 2011. That's a long
Right.
time ago, man.
Yeah. So for getting approved for initial
Yeah.
owner occupied loan, like was mentioned, what would they be looking in terms of employment? So if you got a W-2, I want to say it's about a year. And then I believe 1099 if you're self-employed, I want to say it's 2 years of your income taxes. They are designed, like I said, real estate is designed more for that owner occupy, right, guys? Once you start to jump into like investment properties, obviously you're gonna start jumping into your 20%, your 25%, you know. But real estate itself and like banks and lending partners are really geared towards that owner occupy. That would be more favorable. I'm not saying it's really geared, but more favorable financially, you know, with a down payment. You can leverage a little more if you're willing to live in it. Now, if you're not willing to live in it, there's plenty of ways, right? There's groups like this. You can JV, you can partner, and there's ways that way. You can get your hard money, your private money. Those are a little more expensive, and those also come with a little more experienced. You know, those are like in the range of like private money in the range from like 6 to 8 to some even like 10, 12 to even 14 with like some hard money lenders percent interest. So that's something quick. That's something out. They're really not too designed for your buy and hold. But again, right, we're going off on some pretty crazy tangents now, right, with like strategies with trying to refinance and get yourself out of that hard money loan, and you know, but that comes later on, you know. But again, don't hide it, right? I would suggest like don't stop trying to learn about it. Get onto Bigger Pockets. Get on with us. I don't know, we have the wholesale mastermind page, group page, and there's always, again, Facebook's loaded with a bunch of pages. Get on it. Control your news feed. Control what you're taking in. You'll learn so much. You know, it's so crazy. So you just got to actually take the action, though, the action steps in order to put yourself in those conversations, because that's the start. You know. So Kim, I know you had said you might have. So congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So
Thank
awesome,
you.
and we're happy to see that you're happy and smiling,
Thank
vibrant as
you.
always.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I ran into a scenario today, and actually, when we were on vacation, I got a random text message from a woman down the street that has been an owner of a home that she has not lived in for over 12 years. She started a renovation gut and decided that she didn't want to deal with it anymore. And so she reached out to me because a good friend of mine told her that that's what I do. And I met with her this afternoon, and it's a screaming deal. And I'm throwing it out to the community right now because I'm not stumped. I kind of gave her some scenarios today, but it's been completely gutted. It's been reframed. It has a new gas furnace, well, as of 10 years ago. It has a new roof, new clapboards, new septic as of 2 years ago. The floors have been shored up, brand new windows. It's in great shape. The sills are in good shape. When she did the new septic 2 years ago, because the septic field and the elevations of the house, she's holding a little bit of water in the basement and needs a new sump pump.
New sump. Yep.
Yep, but the new stairs are decode. Everything is amazing. And so I started asking her some questions like, how much does she owe on it? Is there any liens? Has she been paying the taxes? She's a nurse. She's retiring pretty soon. And it's literally like a half a mile down the street. So I guess my input on this for all of you on the call is that, I do door knock campaigns. I don't do a lot of calling. I like drive for dollars and door knock campaigns, but when people call you and approach you, you go for it, and you meet with them as soon as possible. Like literally we got home Saturday night. I lined up the appointment with her for today. So I'm trying right now. I've been crunching my numbers since, we met with her, and I kept asking her, what do you want for it? Like, what's it worth? What's it worth? What's it worth? What do you want for it? So she owes $160,000. Her taxes are $8,200 a year. I'm in an affluent area, and right now, with materials and labor, everything's going through the roof. But this house literally doesn't need a lot. It needs rough plumbing, rough electrical, finish work, some spray insulation, blue board.
You got an idea of square footage?
Square footage is 1,900. And so by my numbers, I could offer her 350, 360, and probably put 90 to 150 into it, depending on the finishing. But the comps around here for something like that, it's a 3.2, 3.5 actually. Open floor concept. The beams are beautiful. Structurally, the place is sound. Nothing squeaks. So I have my interior decorating. I'm like, oh, I know what I could do to this place. So I'm thinking, what it would be worth would be like 640 to 680, around there. With the markets, if it's bidding more, probably 720, 730. So I guess what my question is I'm actually really thinking of just getting a PML and doing it myself and hiring a GC to do it. But what would be your suggestion for verbiage to make her an offer? And this is what I actually told her too. I gave her a couple different scenarios, like things that we always talk about, having her hold the paper and giving her a payment at the end. And so what's stressing her out right now is her monthly mortgage and her monthly mortgage and her taxes. She's paying about $2,100 a month. So what I offered her was if she could hold the paper, we would pay her mortgage and her taxes every month to just ease the pain of that. And we could either A, turn around and pay off her mortgage right away as part of the deal, and then actually have her have an equity play with the sales price. So I just would like some input. I know Rob's on here and Liz has had, some good negotiations. Oh, hi, Dave. Damien's on here.
Yeah, Damien too. Yeah, I was about to
the
throw him in the mix.
The king negotiator. So I guess actually, Damon, I need money by tomorrow, please.
Tomorrow?
By Friday.
Yesterday, Damien.
No.
Yesterday.
So what would
Hey,
be
David, if
some-
you're giving money away, no, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Hey,
So
is she
what-
living there, Kim? I'm sorry. Is she in
No,
there?
she hasn't. She
No,
hasn't been
vacant.
living there for over 12 years. So
My question for you, Kim, though, too, is sometimes when properties have been vacant that long, like the city has basically shut it down. I mean, I'm sure, is there going to be any extra stuff on top of the rehab budget that you're going to have to clear up with the city?
no,
No.
because so this was my thing. She had a building permit, right?
Okay,
Back from
yeah.
back in like 2010, 2011, and she let it expire.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things that might not be grandfathered anymore, but that's it. And they're not big things. It's like the code to go down to the basement, the stairs going up to the second floor are code. But when I left her, I went right down to the town hall and pulled the building in, the building department file
Mhm.
just to see, and I went to the assessor's office just to make sure that there was no liens, everything's been paid, and everything has been paid. She's great.
Mhm.
I think she's just freaking out about her retirement and she doesn't want to rehab it. It's not a big job. I mean, literally it needs rough plumb, rough electrical, insulation, finish work.
Yeah.
It's nothing that we haven't seen. So I guess my question is for you guys is give me a couple scenarios that might work so I don't have to borrow a ton of money, maybe half of what I could offer her. I'm thinking like 350 to 360 would be super fair for her. I looked at all of the monies that she's put into permitting and on all the permit pulls, you have to estimate the cost of all of the pulls. And she has put like 160 grand into it. So for what she owes on it and what, she has put into it in all fairness. Oh, and then there's an outbuilding too. There's a big barn on the building that is like 21 by 10, which is great storage and an asset, but it's on almost an acre of property as well. And so to offer her, 350, 360 is super fair, especially if the ARV is over 650 and you only would have to put in, one.
Can you split the lot too? I mean, would that be part of the
No,
exit strategy?
the lot's not splittable only because splittable, is that a word?
I don't know.
No, it's not splittable because there's a big stream running like almost like diagonally through the property, which is way in the back. It's in back of the septic.
Well, you
so
would
it
be
has-
surprised. You can do a land bank, basically. You might be able to negotiate that out through attorneys.
Yeah, that's a good question. I can ask that, but yeah, so I just wanted to throw it out to you guys
Yeah.
now that Damien and Kevin, I know you've been
Kim,
good
I
at
like the
negotiating.
idea. I really like the idea of trying to get her in on the back end.
Mhm.
I think that would be your least, money that you would have to put up. Obviously, you got your construction costs or whatever the case may be, and then you got your monthly. If that's something you can swing monthly with her mortgage and taxes, I love that play.
And do it on
know?
the back end.
If that's something that she's willing to do, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And even if you wanted to entice her, if it really is that something that you like, and man, if you're as confident about it, if I'd be right there with you. And I love that you're already like, I really like it. This thing is going to work. And guys, if Kim says it's going to work, it's going to work. So
Thanks.
that's 100%. I believe in that.
How long is the hold time?
You know what? I think the whole time. So what I did was I prioritized it because she did the septic almost 2 years ago. And with the elevations of the house and where the septic field is, and if anybody knows
Leaching
anything
field,
about
yeah.
septic,
Yep.
it's kept in her elevation, it's kind of up on a hill. So it's not septic itself, it's the runoff from the septic field. And
Yeah, leaching
so,
field,
yeah, so right now she has it's 100-year-old house, and there's no what's the name of it? It goes down into the basement.
Yeah.
Sump pump? No.
No, not sump pump. We need a new sump pump though. Those big things that you lift up and you walk into the basement.
Oh,
Oh, a cellar
bulkhead.
door.
The bulkhead.
Bulkhead, thank you. Oh my
Bulkhead,
God,
yeah,
I'm having
yeah.
a brain fart. I'm
You
thinking
probably
of
just got simple grade issues. You know what I
So-
mean? It might be tricky because of that river, maybe. You know, to stop messing with the grade alongside the leaching field. Maybe that's
Yes.
why kind of you got some issues that
Right,
way.
and that's kind of what I was
Environmental
thinking.
issues.
It just needs almost like a French drain.
That worked too. Yeah, hell yeah, I love it.
A French drain, and then I would just pitch it and run it away
Hell yeah.
from the house. And then if you did a bulkhead, or even better, you could dormer a full door to give you light in the basement. And that's actually
Yeah.
cheaper, I think, than a bulkhead and having to pour the cement.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
anyways,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
more here than there. But
Right.
I guess my main thing right now is I'm not letting her go. She's there every day.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, don't.
So I want to get back to her as soon as possible. I don't care if even if I just get it under agreement with a number for her, but give me some other scenarios about like how to negotiate this.
Damon, what you got, man?
How much does she have left on her loan?
She has a mortgage of 160, and the property taxes are 8270, and they're paid to date.
And then there's nobody else living in the property right now?
It's completely gutted. There's no heat, there's no electricity. It has a new panel. None of the rough electrical, none of the rough plumbing has been done, but it's all been completely framed out. Like you walk through it and you know, this is the kitchen, you know, this is the pantry, this is a closet. The layout is great. The structural integrity is amazing. I mean, the beams in this place are crazy. The only thing it does not have, and it has when I went down to the building department, it has a spiral staircase going down into the basement, but I don't even think those are code anymore. That was back in 2010, 2011. I think you have to have an in and an out in a basement now that's emergency accessible. Again, that's from me being an EMT for years, but it's accessible from the back, but not from the house inside. And I don't know who would want spiral staircases going down into their basement.
Yeah.
Also, do you know how old the mortgage is?
I'm sorry?
How old is their loan on the property?
She's paying $2,100 a month with taxes and her mortgage.
But how old is it? Like when was that initiated, you know?
I don't know. I would have to ask. She's getting me the paperwork tomorrow, so I'll know more about it. But that's why this call is perfect, and I'm gonna find out like answers tonight, so that it gives me a better, you know, I'm not letting it go, even if I have to give her a personal check to hold it, you know, so she doesn't, because she said there's other agents that are calling her and everything. So
yeah, focus on the pain, Kim. Really focus on the pain and that pain in the ass, and really like that just you'll be there. You'll help her regardless. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I said to her today, you know, I'm like, I was really grateful that she actually reached out to me first, because she has been approached by a lot of other people, and she doesn't know who to trust. So my friend obviously is a friend of hers, and she trusts her. So and she knows what I've done to my own home because she watched it being built. So she knows what I'm capable of. And I just was coming down to her level, not purposely, not manipulatively, but just sincerely, because she's just an amazing person. And I was completely transparent and wanted her to know that I'm going to do everything I can to get her, you know, the best, most fair offer that we can give her.
Where is her fear at? It sounds like she doesn't want the weight of the monthly maintenance of it. And I wish Mario was here, because he's been helping me with some of these creative financing options too. And he's had conversations, or he's had me ask the sellers, you know, are there any other outside bills that we could take care of? Because if you come to agreement on a price of the property, but you can pay from the sale of that property, pay down other bills, that essentially boosts or reduces their taxable interest on that.
So here's the thing also.
So any student loans or anything like that?
Yeah,
outside credit card bills? Yeah.
So so when I went down to the building department, like I said, I went through the whole building file. It was quite thick. And I actually started to add up what she's paid over the years with permits, you know, the construction costs, all that stuff, on top of you know, what she's paying monthly, you know, that type of scenario. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put on a piece of paper, like this is what you've put into, and, you know, I want to get this money back for you because she's put a lot of money into it. And it's at a great spot. I mean, it's kind of like, well, for me, I look at it and go, wow, this is the fun part, you know. It's like lipstick on a pig,
Because you've
right?
done it. You've done it before. Yeah,
I
it's the
know,
finisher
and that's why
upper.
like nothing scares me. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. She's like, this water, I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, we're gonna sink a French drain and do this and do that. Done.
Hey,
But
um,
I just, you know, I need some creative help here with like verbiage and some other like carrots tomorrow when I see her to get the rest of the paperwork.
Sure. One thing I want to do is just go back to the loan again. So the reason I asked how many years in was the loan that she already has. Like, so if you pull up like an amortization schedule, you'll see that the payments are super interest heavy in the beginning of the loan, right? And then it gets to about 17, 18, 19 years where it gets more principal heavy. So if you take over their loan, you're gonna be paying way more into the principal than you would paying on a new 30-year loan. So that's a huge help for you if you can get
Awesome.
them to take it subject to the existing mortgage. The other thing, that you could do too is like, Kevin brought up and Elizabeth brought up like the other bills. You can try to focus on like what they need for a monthly payment to kind of get by, and then sort of say like, hey, come up with seller financing for the rest of the loan. And you can also do like a comparison. You could say, this is my investor cash offer, right? And you can kind of say like, hey, well, you don't have to, you can figure out how to explain it. You don't have to go in too deeply, but you could say that, for an investor cash offer to get loans other than conventional bank financing, banks won't touch it. Lenders will need 70% minus the repairs. So I can only do an investor cash offer at this, but with the creative, with you helping me, assisting me with the financing, with giving me the ability to take over your loan payment and coming up with seller financing, I will be able to come up with a higher price for you, and then you kind of go into like, how much do you need to get by? And you can actually take that number and try to kind of fit it into like a loan model. You don't even have to use, rates, right? You could say like, will you take this monthly payment for this number of years? And surprisingly, it might come out to, a little bit more. And this works perfectly if you're doing a buy and hold, because you necessarily don't care anyway. If you're going to hold the thing for 30 years, like as long as the tenants are paying the monthly payment, you don't really care what the end price is. So it actually will look to them that you're paying more money than you are. But if it's a flip, then you've got to work in the interest rates, right? Because the mortgage statement, that the mortgage statement that gets recorded with the deed will be what has to get resolved at closing. So you have to keep that number at a number where you'll make a profit if it's a flip, right? But if it's a long-term rental, you necessarily don't care what that number is.
This isn't going to be a long-term rental. This is just
Okay.
going to be, so that's where I'm kind of trying to figure out right now, do I wholesale it? Because it's pretty good. I mean, I can get it under agreement right now and wholesale it. And do pretty well with that.
But man, Kim, if you're looking at an ARV in the sixes, and just roughly, you know what I mean, looking at purchase price for 315, ARV in the sixes, let's say your rehab went 110,000,
right?
You're looking at a crazy profit, all depending on how expensive your money is.
Right. So
how to do it. So
yeah. So if Damien can get me the money by 5 tomorrow,
but I might not have to get you money. You might be able to do this with no money and just figure out a monthly payment.
So I love that idea because I didn't really think about the length of the original mortgage. So she did say, I think, if I recollect, she did say that she had refinanced a while ago for somebody's at college education maybe, but it wasn't a big refi. So in any event, if I'm hearing you correctly, Damien, what you're telling me is one of the best scenarios would be to have her hold the paper, pay her monthly payment, and maybe a little bit more to entice her, like sweeten the deal and say, look, I'll give you $2,500 a month because I really appreciate, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Have her hold it. The whole time for me, Elizabeth, I was getting back to you, was the first thing I have to do is deal with the water in the basement. Second thing I need to do is like get crap away from the house. Like there's vines and stuff growing into the house before they start popping. I would want to get before, now we're going into August right now. So before we get to cold weather, I would want to get that place sealed up. So I would want to get all the big things done in there, like spray insulation, all the rough electrical, rough plumbing, all that type of stuff. And, you know, get that stuff done. And then it will be perfectly sealed up for winter and the colder weather for the fall into the early winter. And then my contractors can just go to town and just do the finish work.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you to wholesale this thing, especially with your experience.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if these numbers briefly like this, I know it's just straight shooting it at us. You're not really throwing exact numbers. This looks insane.
Especially where it's right down the street from my house, because it's like that's boots on the ground right there.
Flip
and you know,
this thing.
And you know me, I'll be snapping my own lines and pouring.
Wait a second, Kim. Okay, as your friend, what are you planning? A rehab or a wedding?
Stop. Yeah, so you know me, I'll be floating the concrete and snapping my own lines, but
I know.
I know.
Hard to though.
But you know, it's a great opportunity, and I don't want to let this go, no matter what. So I was thinking about getting her even under an informal contract tomorrow with a personal check, or like one of my company checks, but one of my business checks, obviously. But so what do you think about that idea?
Well, can I say this?
Yes.
You might want to just put it in escrow instead of paying her directly.
Okay.
You know,
can I do that just through a regular bank?
Oh, you could. Yeah, you could do it with an attorney. I mean,
yeah, like Mike Sean.
Yeah.
Have Mike
That's
escrow.
how. That's how I write up my contracts. It doesn't go to the owner.
Can that be done quickly?
Yeah, you just take a picture of it. If they can sign off on that, and you give them a picture, redact the check number. Yeah, and you could do that. I do that through my cell phone. I just take a quick picture after I write it, and then I submit that with the offer. So yeah, if you need outside of the call, I can show you one that I've done.
Yeah, that would really be helpful, because usually, and I have to admit, the transaction part of this whole thing, I've never done like I'm a contract freakazoid, but I've never done something.
Seller financed.
Yeah, I've never done that before. So
and Mike's the guy too. Mike's real good with it.
Yeah. So and as an agent, I get the sale on the backside. Like to your point, Kevin, if I did do this, then I'll get the sale on the backside as well.
Insane
commission. Yeah.
And then now again though, right? There's plenty to entice her with that back end too.
Yeah.
Run up some numbers and entice her for that sale. You know, tell her like, maybe the bidding war. You know, where it's like, you know, if that's something that works for you.
So would I offer her an equity position?
Oh, just an interest. Just a payment at the end.
No equity position.
No. Just a payment at the end.
Give her a flat fee. Yeah.
You know the reason why? So I thought about this as other investors have told me not to do this, is because you have people that have emotional ties to the house, and they're going to say like, oh, don't take down that wall. See the markings on that wall? That was my kid growing up.
Yes. Yeah.
They'll do stuff like that, and they'll, you know, try to get into the deal and mess up your numbers. And I mean, I've never personally done it, but I've thought about it and asked other investors, and all of them say no, stay away. The only thing I have to ask, you know, if you go the creative financing route, now I'm thinking about all the work that has to be done. What do you think is your rehab costs on this?
Probably looking at roughly like the most 110, right? You said 90, but round it up. You know?
Yeah, so you have to really take into consideration labor rates right now because they're
Mm.
high and materials. I mean, and the good news is that everything is framed out, like all the expensive stuff. And like I'm looking at like I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to pay for those 2x4s. Like, because everything is like completely framed out. Like I said, you walk through and you need railings on the stairs. There's certain things that you have to do for safety issues just to go forward with this. But blue board paint, finish work, all that type of stuff. And that's where I shine with all that stuff. But all the 2x4s and the framing is all done. I mean, all the
Yeah,
bracing stuff.
right. And that's a big plus if you're going to keep that.
Yeah.
So
So
I would think that the rehab cost would be under 100,000, like from what you're saying. But I don't know. I don't know what's in
Depends
the
on your finishes for the ARV price too. Hopkinton, you said, is
And
pretty
she's up
pretty
north.
high end
Oh yeah,
stuff.
you gotta look pretty
So,
for
yeah.
Hopkinton.
yeah, you
she's
have
up
to,
north.
you really have to stay with trends and comps up here.
Yes.
Which I'm also creative with, but I just was looking like I'm gonna hopefully get the paperwork from her tomorrow with all the up-to-date stuff of the survey and the land survey and things like that. But I did pull and took pictures of the lot lines, the official lot lines that were last surveyed, and stuff like that. But I just I don't want to take up any more of your call time, so I thank you for your help. And
Awesome.
Damien, I'll probably talk to you tomorrow,
Okay. Can I ask
if not in an hour.
I think
What's
there's
that?
one more important question.
Okay.
So if you do the creative financing route, you're still going to have to come up with money for the construction piece, right? Do you have either the funds, credit cards, Home Depot loan, or a private lender that would help you, or your own funds to help you on the construction part, because you're not going to get a construction rehab loan if you do creative financing route. So do you have that or in place?
So I do have a PML person that hasn't texted me back yet, but he will.
Love it.
Yeah, I do have a PML and I do have the other resources that you just mentioned available to me. So yeah,
Okay.
I would be able to piecemeal
Yeah,
some
then-
stuff.
That's
But
awesome.
Definitely
So-
go creative financing route, I suggest, if you
And
can.
so Damien, that's when you could come in and help me perhaps on the back end stuff as we get closer, is to help refinance that into a longer term.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can help with that as well.
And at that point, would it be worth it to even do that?
Well, are you talking about refinancing it after you've done the rehab?
Mhm.
Well, if you're going to hold it, yes. But if you're just going to sell it in a flip, then you don't need to get
Yeah.
out of the loan. Just stay in it.
True.
Until it sells.
So what would be the going percentage to negotiate with her? 10%, 12%?
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, so I wouldn't even go with percent. I would just go with monthly payment, and then, kind of what do you need to survive? Then say like, what do you need to enjoy your life with? Like, she might not have any other income, or she might be getting Social Security, which is not really enough for her lifestyle. Like,
She's a nurse. She's still working.
Yeah.
Kim,
But
I thought
she's-
you said the pain
so the whole
was
time
her
is-
paying the bill, was paying the mortgage, right? I mean, and she's got the income like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Well, I
not
was gonna
only
say-
it's not only the mortgage though. It's also
The taxes.
she's not going to just get rid of it by just handing over the mortgage. She's also wants, I'm
To
sure
make-
more than just 160,000 for the house, right?
But Kim was looking to offer 300s and then low 300s, and she'd still be okay. And just running rough numbers, dude, low 300s. That's a great offer. You know what I mean?
Well, she's put
But that final payoff is at the end of the project. Yeah.
Correct. Right. So
Right.
would I give her, so she's put like 150, 160 into it. She owes 160. Her monthly payments are 2,100. So do I offer her 150, all under contract and escrowed and like all that stuff legal with a lawyer, and then have her just hold the paper of the 160 for the end of the,
Yeah.
until I sell it, and then she gets a balloon payment.
Love it.
And I pay the $2,500, and I pay her the $2,500 a month.
Love it. Yeah, you won't even have to come up with a percentage, like Damien said. Screw it, just a buyout. Come up with a buyout at the end, a balloon payment. That's great.
but she feels like at least she's getting a
The
substantial
mortgage
amount
taken care of.
up front, and then she
Right.
doesn't have to worry about the mortgage or the taxes.
But I would also definitely make sure that, when you go to closing, that, you make sure that you're buying it subject to, and she creates a login and you're actually paying her mortgage. Make sure it's not a wrap, because she could be taking the money and not paying the mortgage on her end, and then it could foreclose behind your back, kind of thing. So
Well, that would be would that be a title search?
No. This is like when you put in your offer.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
On that,
Can't
like,
she just
and you
make
just
the
say
payment
this offer
directly?
is subject to liens and encumbrances. The seller will provide a login for the Caliber Loans mortgage, and the buyer will take over the mortgage payments. Like, that's exactly the words that I have in my contracts.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So,
Can you share that with me?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark, did you share something, bud? I know your mic's pretty low. I think I heard you a little bit, but no, try. But no, awesome stuff, Kim. Thank you, man.
Awesome.
Bringing me in.
Thanks,
That's
you guys.
exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm
Well
happy for you,
done.
man. Let's
Well,
go.
Yeah.
No,
Not-
just this conversation though, Kim. Like it's amazing to even have them, And this is what, being in real estate and being into the wholesaling thing and just marketing in general, regardless of what you're doing, great opportunities come to those who take action.
Well, and that's it. And I guess the reason I wanted to really share was because it's this is the foundation of our education, right? It's building relationships. It's who you make yourself up here so that people want to gravitate towards you and they trust you, with their baby. And like you said, some people have attachments to these properties, and it sounds all good and all this stuff at first, but then when it comes to signing, they're like, and they get freaked out. And so I'm trying to kind of ease that and make her feel comfortable that, it's teamwork.
Awesome.
So awesome, you guys. Thanks for sharing with me.
All right. Liz, looks like you're gonna have to take the reins again tonight, unless someone else, right? Like, again, right? This platform is definitely designed for all of us, man. And it's definitely designed for those that are willing to take some action as well. Quite a bit of us do have lists already too. If you guys, not even if you want to do it live, right? Let's say if you want to get some reps in, man, I know Damien is chomping at the bit, just constantly looking for people to help him market to, his lists, his marketing systems. Liz, same, I know Clint does his thing as well, can't everyone in here, so even if it's not tonight or not on these live nights, reach out to any one of these guys and girls, man. Start getting some reps in. I would suggest it.
Yeah, I would want to say welcome to all the new newbies here. I know
Yes,
I invited at
welcome.
least 10 people to the call over the weekend. They saw a post in another group. So thank you for joining our group. Thank you for giving us your time and attention today. If nobody else wants to raise their hand, I know sometimes Tom is on here, wants to call. I can hop in. We can start calling Florida.
Awesome. And Liz puts it in there, right? Post your market you're in, you're working in, guys, in the chat, right? Let's get to know each other. I know we can't all unmute at the same time. And I know especially when we're on live, we try to be a little more conscious of unmuting in our conversations. So throw anything in the chat, man. We do our best to answer it. And again, Liz, you put the group page in there for us, the wholesale Facebook group. And
yeah, but if you come late, I'll stop sharing. If you come late, you don't see the history of it. That's why it's always good to be here. Stay on at the end.
Yes.
You can always use the 3 dots and download all the chat, and then do networking after the call. I'll post it again.
Facts. Yep. And then again, right? Like, stay active on social media, right? That's been a big help with me too. Like, I literally do my best. I still work on it. My news feed needs to be filtered through quite often, because all I really want to see and really want to involve myself with a little more time on my free time is ways to grow and ways to get better, especially within the real estate. But again, entrepreneurship in general. This isn't just geared towards real estate, right? These marketing streams, these marketing systems can work for anything, dude, right? You're just not going to go sell ice in Alaska, right? You know what I mean? Just like
Evan, earlier, you can't do this by yourself. all of the deals I've done up to this point have involved other investors, you know, kind of helping me either with education, give me ideas. When we could meet face to face, I went to all the regular networking groups, but we also had rehab tours, just like what Kim was experiencing, finishing that, you know, fixer upper, finisher upper, right? You know, if you don't know the strategies in your local market, what rehabbers are doing to, you know, be able to provide a deal like that, I mean, that's where you get that base knowledge. So.
Yeah. And again, right, guys, I appreciate you guys every Monday. I'm going to have to leave a little early today, but every Monday night we're here. If Liz isn't calling, I'm calling. And if we're not calling, you know, we've had a couple of brave souls, but it's really not that bad, man. I think we overthink it. We make it seem worse than what it really is. So it never gets easier, though. I'll be honest with you. Like, even some of the calls that I make sometimes, the follow-ups that I got to do, like, you still get that pit in your stomach. You know, it's negotiation. You know, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you try not to show it, right? Like, you know, like, I know how excited Kim is right now, but at the same time, you know, she's not going to call and be like, oh my God, like, I'll do whatever it takes. But you know what I mean? It's still, it doesn't like go away. That pit in your stomach never really goes away. So I think just the more reps and then just that, you know, tearing those muscle fibers, man, it'll get it stronger.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Somebody posted about Washington State. I do have a rental property there. I do like property there. And I might have a co-host sale there too. So that's not out of the realm of possibilities. That's why you always got to be networking. Share the screen and the sound. Okay, so I am using an auto dialer. So this is called Tools, a couple of different lists. I have a CRM system. I can pull my list based on equity, based on location. If you're new to this call, typically you want to look for high equity types of properties because those are the easier conversations. An absentee owner, like a tired landlord, is an easier conversation than somebody who's owner occupied. They're going to look at as a business transaction versus, you know, where do I move because, you know, this is my home, right? So there's a little less hand holding, usually, typically, sometimes. Everything has a caveat. So I'll go ahead and hop in, and then we'll talk about some of the different aspects of what this is as I go. But hopefully we'll get some calls right off the bat. Oops, I don't want to be in this one. So my Florida lists are small multifamilies. It's the Orlando and Tampa areas. And so the way I built out my CRM system is each list is kind of its own, but hello?
Hi, you've reached Chris Martin with Martin Legal and A1A Law and Real Estate. Please leave me a message. You can also text me at this number. Thank you.
Hi, Chris. My name is Liz, and I'm an investor. Mostly I'm looking to increase my network connections in the Tampa and Orlando markets. So I was hoping you'd be open to a conversation with me in the future. I'm looking to relocate there myself. My cell is 857-600-2370. Thanks. Okay, just like that. Now I'm gonna, since he said he was an attorney and he was in real estate, I'm gonna add him to the list called vendor list, because on the back end, I put in a sequence and series based on these dispositions, how the text messages flow from here. Instead of asking or saying, hey, I wanna buy your house, have you thought about an offer on your house? It's gonna be more that networking, looking to connect with other investors and industry professionals. So it kind of goes to knowing your list and how to have those, okay, cool. And how to have those continuing conversations. So I'm just going to put, because the outgoing voicemail confirmed it's Christopher, this is a good number. This is a first call. These are all first calls, mostly. Okay. And it doesn't look like it's an attorney type of number, so I'm going to put outgoing message. Okay. The other dispositions I have, DNC, if I don't want to ever call them again, needs analysis, not interested, left information. So each one of these does a little bit different thing, like I said, on the back end. So I'm going to add them to the vendors list and then follow-up calls. So I know if that pops up again in a future call that I don't necessarily want to buy his house, but just want to network with him. Hello?
Hi. Don't take it personal. At the sign of the beep, leave a message and a number.
Totally got me.
And we'll get back to you.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, metrounits.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property. If you or anyone you know of would be open to an offer, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Okay, so with that one, I just leave voicemail. Some people leave live voicemails, some people don't. Just depends on how quickly you want to get through your list. And the reason why I'm saying we're looking for a next investment property in Florida is because on my auto dialer, there are 800 numbers, but the phone number that I'm leaving is basically an area code for Massachusetts. So they're like, who the heck is this person?
The destination voicemail box is full.
Okay. So the way this is set up too is it should be able, if it's an SMS enabled phone number, it should be able to cycle through a series of text messages too. That's on the back end. If I was on the line with somebody, I have my script here, but then I can also send them a more manual text message. So, and it looks like I have a few new ones in there too. I got to clear up.
Sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
And I'm just marking these no answer because it'll still go through my call list. The way I've set it up is that I don't want to repeat the same number within 3 days. It's just how I set it up. And so eventually this will get recycled in the list and called again. Tampa's. So once I get through this call list, like you can notice there's this many leads, 1349, and then about 815 redials. Eventually I'll get down to 0. So, hello?
Please leave your message for
New Sound and Brooklyn Sound Service.
Hey, this is Liz, and I'm an investor based in Massachusetts looking to build out my connections in Florida. If you'd like to be added to my vendors list, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. So that vendor list conversation could go a couple of different ways. They could be a bird dog for me, sending potential seller leads to me, or as I discover or meet with sellers that need services, I could send referrals their way. So it should be kind of a back and forth thing. And that's how I pitch it. It's a preferred vendors list. You're referring other people to them based on the services they provide.
Hello.
Oh, hi, this is Liz. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah, I realize it's the evening hours. I was hoping you can help me out a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, my name is Liz, and mostly I'm just looking to connect with owners. Have you thought about selling your property?
No, not planning on it.
Okay, no
Good day.
no worries there. Do you know anybody who would benefit from selling? She hung up. Okay. Okay, so there I just, again, I'm just trying to qualify. I'm not even sure if she's the right, voice to the phone number and contact information. But she, obviously didn't want to carry on a conversation with me. So my next step in phase is usually to try and turn them into a bird dog for me, show them, what's in it for them. But she was not open to that opportunity. So on to the next. Oh yeah, thanks for the help, Damien. Liz with the biz. That's funny. Yeah, I think that's why I like my job. It fits me, right? I get to be the connector.
calling Nemours Children's Health System.
Okay,
Si
this
habla
is not
español,
a lead for
oprima
me,
el
so I'm gonna
9.
hang up. So that obviously wasn't a lead. I couldn't turn into a business referral type, so I'm gonna put them on DNC. Children's Hospital thing. Now, the nice thing about call tools is when you put your numbers in here, if you have more than one phone number for, say, a property owner, it creates its own property card or all this contact information based on each individual phone number. So if I put a DNC here, meaning do not call that number again, it's only for this phone number. It's not for any of the other ones that would have been associated with this property. So I'm not really losing out on anything. So there's a question in the chat that says, how many calls do you place usually, or do you delegate to a VA? That is a great question. I am my own cog in my own business and cog in the wheel. So I would say it's going slower than it needs to. I should delegate some of this out, but what I'm trying to do for myself and my business is to build out the systems and process. And I feel like I need to work on that a little bit more before I hand that off. Kevin was on the call earlier. He works with Amber Crow. We've had her on as a guest speaker, and that's what she does. She runs her own call center, basically managing the VAs. And those two have been, working together to build out that call business for Kevin's side and his dials. I haven't done it for myself. I still want to do a little bit more hands off, but what I have offered an opportunity is people from the Alchemist community, people that are on this call. If you've gone through the 8-week mentorship program like I have, like some of the other people have, I'll let you in on my tools and systems, and then we can work these leads together. Yeah, so yeah, I like Amber. Yeah, she's great. So this is a business line. Now, the nice thing about this DNC, it's a company DNC, but also before the numbers or as the numbers are being loaded in, the system will scrub it if it's on a national DNC line. So I don't even need to worry about anything. If the numbers go and they come through, they're good numbers to call unless I have that conversation with that person on the other line. They want to be put on DNC, and I'm respectful of that. I don't want to waste my time. If they're not willing to work with me either. There's a little bit, it's a little, fine line there, but, I err on the side of caution. But I'm just, committed to these lists. Keep working them. I'm also going to but also pull different.
Welcome to St. Petersburg College. Sorry, I could not find this option.
No, I don't want colleges either. Not for this call. DNC. So yeah, if the next level to this is, again, right now these are just high equity absentee owner lists, but I will also maybe want to pull other lists for different areas based on other motivating factors like vacancy or code violation list, things like that, where the property is more in distress or there's more motivation for the seller to sell. So another question in the chat says, do you use one line or multiple lines? So that's a great question. Because I'm only one operator sitting in the seat, I found that I don't need that many lines, but because I'm working different states, I've got 3 lines for Florida, 2 lines for Washington State, 2 lines for California, and then the majority of my lines for Massachusetts will also, those same numbers will call into Rhode Island. So I think I have 5 there, but I don't even need all 5 on that Massachusetts list, because what the system does is it drops the call if I'm already on the line, and then if I had 2 people on at once, then maybe you would need more phone numbers at the same time. But I find 3 is just fine for the speed and the conversation and getting through my list. Yeah, and this is call tools. Yeah. So this was business. Oh, this is a college. Oh, the same thing. Yeah, with the multiple lines, I just wanted to see that the calls weren't being dropped. And so with this, you can throttle it based on the predictive dialing means there's either a power dial or a predictive dial, and I forget the exact terms, but it's all in the settings on the back end. And so I just said I want it to, dial up calls to me at a certain speed. So I don't have multiple coming in one right after the other. I want to be able to have a little bit of a conversation with them. Yeah, so this Florida list, like I said, it was multifamily. I got Tampa side and Orlando side in here. So it's basically a high equity list. I tried to filter out so I didn't have as many owner occupied, like with condos.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 845492651 is not available.
It's definitely absentee
At
owner.
the tone,
New
please
York.
record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press
Looks
1
like
for
it's a
more
condo.
options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. So I'll put voicemail. Oops. So, and this is just the first round for me. So if I had a lead, had a good conversation, had a lead from this, I would put that property information into my CRM system. So this is just to generate leads for me. Get rid of anybody who doesn't want to talk to me, DNC, clean up the list, and then touch them multiple times after I recycle the list. So the only time I take them out is,
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
See, I was just on this one. I must have redialed it or got another property in here. I recognize the name.
4848 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you for more options.
Hello, this is Liz, 857-600-2370. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers or if you know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Yeah. So the question in here is, can you drop a voicemail instead of actually leaving a message?
Automatic voice message system.
I'll answer that in a second.
843536 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property. If you're open to offers or know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. So recently, they changed the laws in basically how you can market. And I know the offer, the proposition is to buy the house, but they want to, I forget what the law is. I'd have to maybe go back to the post that I shared in the wholesaling group, but there are certain changes in automation and how you reach out, like the robocalls, right? Because I'm a live person leaving a live message, that's not considered a robocall. I am using an auto dialer to help me get to those live calls faster. But I think there's certain changes, and I'm not sure if dropping a ringless voicemail is legal. Don't quote me on that, because things are changing and they just started changing this summer. So that's why I leave a live voicemail. Some people just don't leave voicemails at all. They just are sending text messages. You still have to follow certain rules around that. And I shared a post recently with the updates. Okay, cool. I know my voice is tired after a while. Nobody wants to hear it anyway. Yeah, Raj says maybe you can transfer the call to your voicemail. It will save you time. Just thought maybe you can try it. I wouldn't even know how to do that. Like I know, hello?
Call Toronto.
Can't take your call now. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, simply hang up or press the pound key for further options.
Hi, Paul. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm an investor. I'm looking for my next investment opportunity in Florida. If you're open to offers, or if you know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Forgot to leave the website. That's okay. So that's an absentee owner anyway. Nancy, did you have a question? I saw something come up, but I didn't. Oh. You said wholesaling group, Elizabeth. What group do you belong to? The normal large groups do you? Oh man, there's so many. The one that I was talking about is everybody can see the back end of my Facebook group now. This Alchemist one. So there you go. So it's this Alchemist wholesaling boot camp in real estate. So we do the live calls in here. You can go back and look at some of the recordings. But then we just post different things and network in that one. There's too many. If you find me on my Facebook page, you could look at all of my groups that I'm in. There's just too many to really name off. But they're good, to network, to get knowledge.
Hi, this is Kimberly. I'm unavailable to come to the phone right now, but if you'd please leave your name, number, and a brief message, I will return your call. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Kimberly. This is Liz, and I'm an investor. I'm looking for my next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers, or if you know someone who would benefit from selling, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Thanks, Nancy. All right. So I could tell it absentee owner. The other thing too is if I get these people on the line, obviously the first question I'm going to have is, if they thought about selling, would they consider an offer? The next phase or level I go to is, okay, if not them, do you know anybody, friends, family, neighbor? If that's still a no, then just, I just say, hey, I'm just an investor. I'm looking to do this. And if I could see that this is probably an absentee owner, I can assume maybe they're an investor themselves. maybe I'll ask that question, or I'll ask them if they want to add to their portfolio. Kind of depends on the vibe I'm getting from them. But if they don't want to sell, then I just want to have that conversation and see if they want to buy. You know, sometimes I'm lucky I can have some good conversations. And then they'll give me, you know, insight into that local market too. Tell me how it's changed or what they're doing, you know, so it's all good insight. Hello?
You have reached Missile Heights Combined Office and Cell Phone voicemail. Please leave a message.
Hi, Mitchell. My name's Liz, and we're investors. We're looking for our next investment property. If you're open to offers, or if you know someone who would benefit from selling, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Okay. So the question in the chat, have you done single family resident calls and wholesaling, or do you strictly prefer multifamily? So based my local market, there's more multifamily, but there's certain areas that I want to take advantage of that just the inventory is just single family. So I have done it both. This list just happens to be multifamilies, small multifamilies. But eventually, the reason why I moved to Florida is because I want to start building relationships and network with brokers, property managers, and get into bigger apartment deals, 50 units and up. So that's the idea.
Is this your first time hitting a Florida list?
I pulled the Orlando I've had maybe for 2 months, Tampa in here 1 month. Well, sorry. So it is newer. I haven't gone through the whole thing once yet, but I've had some good conversations early on. Just haven't been on the calls recorded. But that's the other thing I like about call tools, the live calls, it does record it, so I can go back and I can listen to it and take better notes. Sorry. I'm on live and I'm on calls.
Sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
Okay. So no answer. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for checking us out, Raj. Yeah, so it's not super exciting tonight, I guess, the calls, but you know, when you have those right seller leads, they make it easier for you, man. It's no doubt about that. So it keeps you going, right? And the opportunity for a big assignment fee too. So no answer.
Hey, Liz.
Yeah.
Who do you use for skip tracing?
I use a service called IDI Data. And so with that, it's a monthly subscription. I can drop it in the chat, but it's on my Linktree. I like it for the convenience of it and the quality and the access to that on-demand. Hello?
Hello. We are not available now. Please call again. Thank you for your call.
Okay. So I can't show it on a live, but let's see. If I go back to the Linktree. Skip tracing. It's all the way down here. So I'll drop it in the chat. They do have a basic requirement. Basically, it's passing my deal on to you, but that you have an LLC and that the LLC is in good standing. You can, I believe, have a DBA, but some sort of business entity, because this is, I mean, you're getting access through a file transfer system to their database of phone numbers and property information. But it makes it really, easy and convenient for doing the skip tracing, the batch process. But then I also have a login portal that I can do individual or deeper skips. So somebody had a question early on. I had the same scenario. So there's been a house like in my local market that I know the owner's absentee owner, like he got moved to assisted living facility or something, and it's just harder to find them. And with that, we found a family and also the most known address too. So rather than getting the postcard mailed back to you, you have something right there in that skipped service, the IDI platform. Do I need a physical location? No, not necessarily. You could put, if you know a certain amount of information about the owner, first name, last name, and maybe a state. If it's not like a Tom Jones or something generic name like that, if it's a unique name, you might be able to get a lucky hit. It kind of just depends on how they have it in the system, but I've looked it up both ways. That's a good question. I forgot what this is. So I'm going to put no answer. I don't remember what happened. So I know I always forget sometimes some people don't see all of the kind of features of this. As I'm doing my skip tracing, I will also get emails, but I only use those emails once I have a conversation with the owner, so I know that they're receptive to it.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 813
So you can see there's an email here.
0 7
But if it was up here, I could do an email from this dashboard.
Is not available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
Okay, so again, if that'll get a text message sent if it's an SMS enabled number. But say we had them on the phone. If I wanted to send them an email, I'll just copy and paste it in here. There is an email function in here, and I have one that's a little bit more generic. Not I want to buy your house, but we're looking for to network and do other things. These custom areas. So thought about selling your it should be maybe a little worded a little bit differently, but selling your house in this city or whatever in county. So I got to change that, but that's the idea. And then I can send an email from here and then hop back in there. But I kind of do that on a case-by-case basis when I've had that conversation.
So can you do full-blown email campaigns from there, or is it just
I wouldn't want to do it from here, just like a 1 or 2 as you go through the cycle, because it'll automatically send the text messages because I built that into the campaign. But I recently, so the wholesale assignment, I had an Athol, that 4-unit deal. I had the owner on the phone and he said, oh yeah, just send me an email. So I said, okay. So I sent it from here. Email was all ready to go. It had his name. He gave me his email address. So I knew that, obviously as a sign of motivation, right? If they're willing to give up an email. So once that's done there, then I put that lead into my CRM system. And even there, I don't like how that one looks, the look and feel. It's not what I'm used to. I do a lot of email marketing, business to business. So you can use something like a MailChimp account where you're, putting out better sequence. Or I also use HubSpot as a CRM system. It doesn't have the information about the property, but it does have it's free, and it does have a nice task list systems. You could do calls from that. So if you're not set up with an auto dialer already, that would be another good tip to look into HubSpot because you can set reminders for yourself. You can do email campaigns. I use it in my day-to-day W-2 job to manage accounts that way. And that's better sequencing, I think, and a better look to it. You can do a little, I have a link in here. I think one of them has a picture. Yeah, this is a picture. And then, yeah, then my signature has that. It's hard to see. This menu is really compressed. There we go. But you don't have all the normal tools that you would in like if you had Microsoft Office for mail merge, or if you had, you know, just a regular Google email or something. So.
No, I was just asking because I do from time to time a couple email campaigns from the background on my website, and it allows me to track the analytics on, you know, how many opens, how many actually click through to follow the link, and you know, X, Y, and Z.
Who do you use? The Investor Carrot, or you use PropStream?
I have a Wix okay. For my website, but it lets me run, you know, email campaigns from the background.
Yeah,
so I didn't know if I could track analytics because I'm strongly considering call tools, upgrading the call tools.
Yeah. Well, this, I mean, at the end, I think it just does the analytics or KPI stuff for the actual calls and the dispositions, but you can, and I have started experimenting with, like I'm still learning this. I can go back into the back end. See if I can find it. Oh, let me go back to the contact, make sure I saved it. No answer. Okay. No, I save and resume. There's certain things that you can have triggered, and I'm not sure if I'm remembering all the process right. So say I set a disposition of needs follow-up. Well, that could set a trigger to send an email to a VA to do something. Like you can set it up that way too, where it's maybe not doing something to the prospect, but it's like an internal, you know, process or next step. And I'm not sure where it's at in here, but I know I've seen it before, and I've started because I was like, I was playing with the settings one day and I was like, oh, it sent me a bunch of emails because I turned that feature on or something. So I don't know if I'm going to find it here, because these are the regular dispositions I set, and then you can just look and see where your numbers are at, I think. But
yeah, I figured I'd ask. I know you're very data driven, so I figured that would be you'd
well,
be the right
I mean, for me, because I'm just comparing myself, it's like, all right, you know, I just like looking at the end of the day. I like looking at the oops, where is it? This call stat, and just saying, all right, what were the abandon rates? You know, were my numbers really good? And then overall, okay, I connected to 84 people in this setting. That's 269 calls. I want to maybe at least hit 300 before I stop for the day, you know, stuff like that. And then looking at these, you know, no answers. Okay, that's the reason why I wasn't really connecting, and I had a bunch of calls on there, you know. So just taking a look at that. I will take screenshots at the end and just keep it in a file, but that's about as much as I do it, just like an end of day kind of check. But like I said, this system is built out if you have VAs or other people in here to really just look from a management standpoint, and then to make sure everything's getting done. So I am trying to grow with this and build out the list and build you know, fine tune it and get things more efficient. Absolutely. So maybe it's under the CRM, because you have these settings, connectors, custom, yeah, it's this custom events. So under the CRM, under the settings, custom events. So when a disposition is made, it says drip into this needs analysis, but I don't even, I don't know, maybe I didn't set it up right. So I got to learn how these events go a little bit better. Let's see. Oops, I don't want to deactivate it. Activate it. So disposition is made. So I can issue an email alert, drip lead into a campaign, issue an email to contact. So yeah, I guess you could do that. And then which email is that? Yeah, the ones that you preset. So look at that. You helped me figure out my system. Thanks, Clint.
I'm glad I could be of some assistance.
So yeah, you can. It's a little bit backwards way than I'm used to setting up an email dripper campaign, but yes, it can be done. Look at that. Now I got to add another to do on my list to get this working better. But that's awesome. Oh, I'm glad you asked me about that. Thank you. Now I don't want to have it officially go off, so I'm going to say drip a lead into a campaign. And I don't know what this is doing. Hopefully it's not creating a weird loop or cycle within the call. But just for everybody that's new, I talked about how the campaigns go since we're not on a live call. We'll go back to that. So these redial templates, they're mostly they're all the same for all the call lists. Some are a little bit different in different areas, and I'll give you a for example. So under the edit, once it loads, so the system is going to do a certain amount of things. Like if it's a failed call, it's just going to move on to the next one. And that's kind of an automatic thing. But if I set a disposition to no answer, the first time it's going to send a text message, an SMS message after that happens. So I've set it to say, this is the first text. Now, if I go to a different area, I can show you what all those scripts are. But they're very basic, especially in the beginning. You're trying to nurture and build rapport with that, that person on the other end. So it's just like, hey, first name. I mean, that's literally what the first text says. I didn't want to get too detailed in that. And then if they respond, then we can, kind of take it from there. But it's all within this call tools numbers and systems. So it's not like it's going to go to my cell phone, but it'll build that response in call tools. And so similar, if that same disposition happens at second and third time, like I build them all out to like fifth and sixth options. So it'll just cycle through different text messages. And then for other types of dispositions, like if it's a failed call or the call went to voicemail, it does that same kind of sequence of text messages. So I guess they could like be getting the same ones, one right after the other, if it was a no answer and then a left a voicemail. But for the most part, it will still go through a sequence for multiple touches within one campaign. And then once that's done, then I can recycle the list, get rid of all the fax numbers, get rid of all the DNCs, and then I have a more concentrated list and a list that's been touched multiple times, multiple ways. So I think that's my bigger problem is my list is so big, I haven't just stuck with one and just keep hitting, but it'll come. I mean, I'll have this, big wave of, all right, everybody's ready to sell at the same time, hopefully. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Wishful thinking.
That's what we all dream for, right?
I know, right? Good problems to have. Then I'm going to be asking everybody on this call, hey, help me with my dispositions. Help me with my walkthroughs, whatever. Exactly. So that's how you can build it out. And I didn't do it in one sitting. You kind of get it set up, you use it a little bit, and then you fine tune it, right? And just like what Clint showed me, hey, I can do a little bit better job with my email sequencing. All right, it's next on the list. Okay. So we'll get back to it.
You are now the predictive dialer.
Yeah, so what are you using right now?
I'm hand dialing, hand texting with Google Voice, which I really need to get away from before it gets shut off on me. So
it'll be. I think you'll be like, why did I do this sooner?
Been forwarded to an automatic voice
That's
message
awesome.
system. 407
You're a trooper. Like I didn't even sit through all those hand dials.
Is not available.
I mean, a little bit, but.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers or know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Yeah, Mitch Durfee was one of the celebrity coaches on the mentorship. He did a walkthrough of this. I don't have an affiliate link, but I used his, and I was like, that's probably one of the best decisions I made, because I went from mailers and just waiting for the inbound stuff to come to now I'm doing a lot of the outreach. I'm doing all the cold calling, and it's all like remote, like that wholesale. Like I didn't even see the inside. Like it was, you know, just kind of boots on the ground stuff. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've tried a number of different marketing avenues at this point, from mailers to postcards to bandit signs to SMS, everything but ringless voicemail. I think that's the
Yeah.
only thing I haven't done yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And postcards work pretty good for me too, but it gets expensive. I did, like I said, I did lots of mailers and I did it in-house, so it can be time consuming too. You don't always have to do it that way, but I invested in stamps. I eventually got to use them. But for me, the postcards and the calls, I think, is that sweet spot, especially with the text. I mean, those three things are key. And then I know Kim does door knocking. If I had more time, I'd probably do door knocking too. You get to know the city, the area a little bit better. And, you know, however you have those conversations with the sellers or the neighbors, those are important conversations to have, and having it face to face has an even deeper impact. So it's definitely well worth your time if you know you can just fumble your way through that until you get your confidence. Not that you don't have confidence, Clint. I'm not saying that, but you know, some people with their cameras off, I don't know, are they even really there? So that's okay. We love you all. Okay.
The number you have reached, 2767736, is not in service.
Okay.
If you feel you have reached...
So somebody asked the question, do you ever do SMS marketing? What are your thoughts on it? So I think we did talk a little bit about that. So I can show it to you again. Oops. Yeah, DNC, this phone number is no good. So this little chat box here, upper right hand corner here, that brings, for this phone number, it'll bring up a text message box. So on the back end, I just showed you how it does it automatically, but then I can also drop something in here. I have little sticky notes on my desktop that has saved text. So I just basically copy and paste that over. So I don't even have to type it out, but you can type out a message there and send it off. There are other platforms. I don't have it, so I can't really speak too much on that. That will just do SMS marketing. I don't just do SMS. It's part of my main marketing channel. My main way of getting leads is the cold calls. On top of that, with this auto dialer, I can do SMS and I can do email within the same platform. So hopefully that answers your question, Elena. Thank you. Okay, so this is a DNC. It's a number's not good, so. And this is, again, this is going to just help me out the next time. If I had more notes, or as I'm doing these notes, they get saved here. So as I work this list, I'll see all my previous notes, and it'll clean up any of the DNCs. I won't see those again. So it'll be a lot faster to go through this list once you work it a little bit more, once I work it a little bit more. I did, if the next call, pop it out. There is a map option on there. So, but the way it works is based on the primary address. And so the way the numbers are loaded, or the phone numbers and the contacts are loaded, is important on how this is done. So I'll explain it when the record or the contact card comes up again. And this,
I wasn't able to defend myself earlier because I was on a call for my W-2 job.
Oh, sorry.
But that's why my video's not on, because I work for a large telecom, and if I shared all that information, guess what? I wouldn't have a W-2 job.
Yeah, okay. All right. You get a pass, Kevin. I get it.
Just letting you know, just defending myself, that's all.
Okay. No, you're a frequent flyer here, so we're glad to have you. Thank you.
You share lots of nuggets, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny. So I have to see like that. I keep thinking about that SMS marketing. There was, I get a lot of Facebook ads because I'm on there so much. There was a service I saw that was just SMS, and I thought that was pretty cool, but I don't remember what it's called, and I didn't look into it outside of that. So I know there's.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail of John Clark. He's unavailable to take your call right now, but if you can leave your name, number, and a message, he'll be sure to get back to you just as soon as he can. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Hey John, this is Liz, and I'm an investor. I'm looking for my next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers, or if you know someone who would benefit from selling, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Now that is a true cold call because it's obviously the wrong phone number for the voicemail. So I don't know if he even has property, but it was there, so I left it. Okay, so I said I was going to show you something I forgot. What was I going to show you? The text message? I think that came up again. So in here, so he's saying stop. So I can click on this and it'll go to that card if I pop it out here. So call back Spanish speaking. Okay, so that was back in June. Outgoing was sent Spanish email, SMS. So I can put them back on that list or just put them on DNC. Because that's what the text was, I think. Usually it has a history in here. Yeah, it says stop. So I'll put them on DNC. Okay. So the other one, oh, that was my outgoing message there. So if anybody can speak Spanish, I don't know, that's what it was. Oops. Takes a while to load, I guess. So that's what it looks like. So I couldn't leave, I don't speak Spanish. I couldn't leave that message for him. So I let the text message do the work for me. And then obviously they responded with stop. So I put them on DNC. But at least I put my effort out. Nice. All right. If you want to be a translator or a cold caller for my Spanish list, I'll hand off all of those Spanish speaking leads to you.
If it's Portuguese, I know a guy.
Yeah, Kevin. I said the same thing to Kevin. That's why I have it on there. Like I don't mind. I know there's a lot of Cambridge owners that speak Portuguese too. Those are high dollar amount deals. This one's an incoming, I think, to my number, so I'll put stop on them. So I'll send that off. So you can do it within the dashboard. It's pretty cool. This takes a little while. Yeah. So those notes are there. And then when I recycle it, I won't even see that contact anymore. So that's good. That's what we want. We just want the numbers that want to talk to us. So if I collapse this, I might have to go out and back just to get back on the call. Yeah, because I already did it. Oh, save and resume. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, it should tell me an update.
You are now connected to the predictive dialogue.
Hi, this is Dee. Thanks for calling, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to answer my phone right now. But if you leave me a message with your name, number, and the time that you called, I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, Dee. This is Liz, and I'm an investor. I'm looking for my next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers, or if you know someone who would benefit from selling, call or text 857-600-2370. So today is July 26th, and it's 7:30 p.m. Thanks. So that's the other thing I try and do is match kind of the tempo, energy, personality of the outgoing voicemail. So I change it up sometimes. Let's see. And that. So, oh yeah, that's what I was going to show you. So this, the map function. So if you do get on a call, I've got a lot of information because I put the property information, the owner's address, and the site property is usually different. So the way Call Tools is made, this primary address is what's going to pop up in this Zillow, but because this is the owner address, I'm really usually looking at the secondary address, which is the property site address, the one that I want to make an offer on. So I can still hit Zillow and Google, and if the address pops up and shows it, it'll go. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So, and this is Tampa, okay. Tampa, so it'll pull it up there. And now that I have it here, I can pull it up in Zillow too. Oh, actually, I'm going to put this on a DNC. It looks like, unless they're condos, it says it one unit was sold. They're probably condos, or what is this? Motorhome, mobile homes. I don't know. I got this. Oh, look at this. Fast internet Wi-Fi. I don't know. Maybe I don't want this on my list anyway. It doesn't look very good inventory. Okay. I'm going to put them on DNC. I can also save these links. That's that link I want to save. Because it said it was. So the reason why I'm saving this link, it's showing me it sold 6/17/21. So that was just last month. So I want to take this off my call list, but I want to kind of save myself proof. So I'm just going to keep the this property and I recently sold. So I'm going to put on, even though I left a voicemail message, it turns out I really don't want to talk to him. So DNC. And then at the end of the evening, any of the notes that I put in here, I'm able to download those So I can save them in a spreadsheet and then filter based on disposition. So all my hot next step follow-up leads, things like that, I can filter out and put in my CRM system, on a daily or every session basis.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Rita Sadrak.
Is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Hi, Rita. My name is Liz, and I'm an investor. We're looking for our next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers or if you know someone who would benefit from selling, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Right. So it's held in a trust, but this is definitely a good number for that contact. Yeah.
Hello,
Oh, hi, this is Liz. How's it going?
this is Sue.
Yeah, mostly I'm calling to introduce myself. Did I catch you at a bad time? I realize it's the evening hours. No, didn't want to talk to me. Okay. So this is an area that I want to be in with my portfolio, so I want to check back with him. Anyways, see if he's an investor, see if he wants to come to my new meetup in Orlando, but maybe he's not him, so I'll call him back again. Yes, absentee owners, investor.
Yo,
Oh, hi, it's Liz. How's it going?
beg your pardon?
Hi, my name's Liz. I'm an investor. I was hoping to connect with you tonight. Do you have time for a quick phone conversation?
No, I really don't.
Okay, when should I check back?
Who do you think you call?
Oh, well, like I said, my name is Liz. I'm an investor, and mostly I'm looking to connect with owners. Have you thought about?
No, I'm not an owner.
Okay. Do you know anybody who would benefit from selling?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, keep in mind, as an investor, I don't need to buy today or right away, but I do set aside $1,000 in my marketing budget. So if you're able to connect me with an owner, they sell, I buy as an investment, we would pay you $1,000 for that.
Okay, I got your number on the phone here.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
All right, bye now.
All right. Bye. Yeah. So So with that, I just put left information. So I'll check back with him later. Thanks, Clint.
Liz, the meetup that you went to last week, was that like at a regular bar and they just had like a table to the side, or was that?
That's a
what
good
was that?
question. So you're talking about the one in Orlando that we still need to figure out, right? I talked to my
Yeah.
real estate agent. She had some good ideas about where we could go for that one. So I said, okay, so I got to connect with her on that. But yeah, to answer your question, Ryan McDermott, he found that bar. I forget the name of it. It's like Freedom something or other, and it's close. I guess it's in Dedham. It's where he's at, but it's a back room. It
Your
has
call
a
has been
separate
forwarded
bar
to an
back there, but we have the whole
system.
area. So it's kind of an event area, I guess, for
407
bigger
7
parties.
3 3
But
2
yeah, I'll have to
7
pick
is
his
not
brain and see how he
available.
figured that
At the
place out.
tone, please record your message.
Okay.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
All right.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. I know we need to figure that out. I had some offers, Avery, just in my defense, when you stop to make offers on different properties or investment deals, and I guess I can take a pass at that. I don't know. I know I need to do it though. I know. Voicemail.
Are you talking about the meetup?
The meetup, yeah. We got to call around, but
oh yeah.
Yeah, the pitch with that is, we're going to grow it, so you're going to have people there. It's going to be a place where they can, have drinks and eat. So as long as it's kind of quiet enough. I've been to a lot of different meetups where they're set up a little bit differently. There's one in Newton in my Massachusetts market where they have a stage, they have microphones, they have PowerPoint projectors. Like, we don't need all of that to start. But if that's kind of the end goal where, here we're doing it virtually, right? That first hour of training, people can use screens and present and talk. I mean, that's where you get, each meetup is a little bit different, but that's where, as a new investor, I was, let me go to that meetup, let me go to that one so I can get the training and do the networking. And it's a fun experience too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to, they don't have too many in Orlando right now.
That are open?
Yeah, that I've seen on like Meetup. I'm going to one in Kissimmee, which Kissimmee is maybe like 45 minutes from where I am, but it's only like 30 minutes from my office. So I'm going to that one this week. And then there are a few others that are like once a month that I'm like, all right, I'll definitely visit them in August.
Yeah.
But I've been like getting everything together right now. It's just finding a venue. It's just finding a venue of where to do it. I know that you're going to be in Cocoa, so I definitely want to keep it more
close-ish. Yeah.
I want to keep it more East Orlando. So I'm thinking like Waterford Lakes, which is not far from where I am.
Okay.
And Waterford is not but at the same time I'm like, gosh, that's still kind of like you're gonna be in Cocoa.
Well, I could take a look at it too, just to see. I mean, the basic thing is you need an area that is maybe a little kind of away from the rest of the restaurant or bar or whatever, kind of a private-ish space. I know there's another Florida one, multifamily and more, I think, or maybe I forget. All these names are so different, but there's another one. I'll add you to that group so you can see what their meetups are like and kind of what we want to bring to that area, to the Orlando. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited for that. So
Yeah, likewise.
got to get down there. I made an offer on an MLS, and I didn't want to pay kind of retail prices for a finish and flip, so I didn't bid above it. So got to know your numbers and kind of stick within it. So back to the drawing board. I'm going to pull my list and start looking and calling off market there for single families. So I have as many options available as I can to get in there and get some.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
And then any retail leads, I'm going to send them you guys' way.
Is not
Listings
available.
Anyway.
At the tone, please record your message.
I'll
When
let
you
you
have
say
finished
this
recording,
message.
you may hang up or for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property. If you're in Florida, if you're open to offers, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. So now they know it's not a real recording. Like one time I was having a conversation and was an agent and she thought I was like a recording and I was like, no, this is me. It was funny. It was like, anyway, she had to backpedal a little bit, I think. It's okay. What were you going to say, Avery?
Oh, no. All I was going to say was, I think you mentioned like residential, like traditional residential.
Oh yeah, like a single family house. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I've been doing a lot of like off market calls, and I haven't, from the list that I have right now, like I haven't gotten anything as far as like off market. The people that I've been talking to, they're all like, oh, it's renovated, but I've actually gotten a few like leads that way as far as like traditional. But I mean, it's still good, but I'm like, I want to get an off market one.
Right.
But I'm still grateful.
Right. No, I mean, yeah, that's why I'm trying to get better at stacking my list. And what I mean by that is multiple points of motivation. So if it's just a high equity list, that's kind of a tall order unless they're already like a tired landlord situation or they want to really downsize. But those can be few and far between. But if you're calling lists that are on like code violations, like they're not taking care of the property, the city is bugging them for that, and there's some other pain point factors in there. Like that's what you want to find, because there's true need to sell for the owner and in a timely manner usually. So and they're not always ideal to sell on the MLS anyway. So I think part of it also to be for residential, yeah, maybe they want to sell, but then now they're seeing all these high prices, and what am I going to find? Am I going to be in this bidding situation too? So finding the flexibility in maybe pitching it or offering it to them might be that thing that tips the point in, okay, making that decision to sell or sell off market or sell with you.
Right.
Because you can be flexible in that as an investor, you can be flexible in that closing timeline with them. All right, well, let's agree on this, and then we can always extend that date out, but let's find you your next place first. And as a real estate agent, you have more ability to do that than I do. I'm just an investor. I can refer them. I can, if I had large inventory of, like a what do you call it? like a rent to own type of situation,
Mm-hmm.
you know, then I could maybe place them in a new
Like
place. But
yeah.
yeah, exactly. But you know, that's when it's really key to just focus in on one market, you know, get to know it, and build those different types of connections to have, you know, that inventory built out.
Yeah. Yeah. The new list that I pulled, like the list I'm working right now, is like all over. It's like a mixture of Osceola, Seminole, Volusia, a little bit of Brevard. It's like all over the place. But the one that I just pulled, that I'm working on getting skip trace right now, that's just in one zip code. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to, because I really know that area. I
Good.
work that area. Yeah. So I'm very familiar with that area. And, you know, my next step is just getting out there and talking to, you know, like some of the business owners and the vendors as well. And creating that vendors list. So that is definitely the next step.
That's awesome. Good to hear that.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, maybe we'll do a couple more calls and then we'll take a look at the last. We got about 10 minutes. So the meeting after this, the next Zoom meeting, is Gualter's Monday night 8-week mentorship program. And so that one is separate from this, but they use the same Zoom link to get it. So we are always kicked off. So just a reminder to share or save the chat for that networking. I'm going to do it right now. There we go. Yeah, it's always good to see the repeat people coming back. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hey, this is Liz. How's it going?
5 minutes.
¿Habla inglés?
No, Spanish, sí, a little bit. English, my English a little bit. Spanish mejor.
Okay, well, I'll have to call back. I'll have to call back later. Sorry.
What? Hello.
Hello? Oh, well, that's okay. I think he speaks Spanish. He said no anyway in English. That was a wrong, I don't know, wrong number man's voice. So it should, when I close this off, it sounded, I mean, it's probably a cell phone. It sounded like he was driving. So because I designated this disposition callback Spanish speaking, it's going to send that Spanish text. So it'll do it right now. And that's just done in the background. Now it's going to go to the next call. Hello? I think that's a different service. I'll check back later. I think I've heard that before. I think the person's deaf and then it rings into somebody that will do the transcription. Could be wrong, but we've got a couple more minutes left, so I wanted to see if I can get another call on there, another live one.
Call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 972904997.
So this is out-of-state owners in Texas.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, this is Liz with Metro Units, METROUNITS.com. We're investors and we're looking for our next investment property in Florida. If you're open to offers or know someone who is, call or text 857-600-2370. Thanks. So So that's cool. There's a voicemail. Yeah, so the reason why I'm leaving the voicemail for the website is I do have sort of a lead magnet on there. It's the back end with my CRM system that if they put their email address, it'll send them through an automated sequence over a month or so. So it's not the best, but it's automated. So, so I think that's okay. And that my last postcard mailing, my last seller appointment was for a property in Somerville, a 2-family. And so that could have been a $50,000 assignment. And he didn't call me back, but because that was on my postcard, he sent his contact information through the website. So when I saw that, I said, okay, now I'm going to call him. Now I'm going to do that individualized, this is on my hot list. This is my more frequent follow-up. And so that's how I got connected and scheduled the appointment. I actually partner with a local broker in that area. My boots on the ground, my person that would do the appointment. So he followed up with him in a second call. I did the first one, he did the second one, and got that. So kind of tag teamed it. So yeah, it's important when you get that inbound aspect or you connect with that motivated seller that you're able to take action and move on it. So. All right. Are there any questions as we hop out? I don't like to leave it to the very end to have the system cut me off on a call. But I can show you the final numbers and answer any more questions if anybody has any. So the call stats for tonight. All right. 104 live calls and 333 dials. That's pretty good. And I had more connections than abandoned calls, so I think that's a win too. In the quality and the timing, everything was pretty good. Yeah, thanks. I know we had a lot of new faces, so welcome. Thank you for sticking to the end. I appreciate it. As a reminder, the chat, you can download and save that. Again, use it for networking. People leave their phone numbers in there, contact information. So just encourage you to network there, network in the Facebook group, and always you're welcome to come back. Yeah, thank you. All right, see you next week. Save that.